Welcome to the newest episode of Digital Twin Podcast. We are very pleased to welcome Adrian Micek, our guest.
Hi.
Hello. E-commerce specialist. So This episode we want to talk about e-commerce, but we want to go deeply to see e-commerce from production company point of view. So how production companies can use e-commerce to increase their business, to increase their income. Digital Twin Podcast is a place where technology and business is going hand in hand.
If you are thinking about digitalizing your company, you found the right place.
Podcast is hosted by Adrian Stelmach, consultant who implements IT solutions for manufacturing companies.
And Paul Pachowicz, industrial digitalization expert, who helps global companies to optimize production processes.
So, first question for you, Adrian. Because you mostly deal with Polish-based customers, as we talked before we start recording. Can you say, because every one of us know e-commerce as internet shopping, right?
Yes.
What else beside internet shopping e-commerce actually is?
E-commerce is basically just buying online, right? So it can be having an auction. It can be having a live, what is called live commerce. So we have a live stream when someone is streaming through their phone even, or they are streaming through their webcam, showing off the products and then giving some sort of a coupon code or a discount code, which can help you finalize the transaction. Also, you can just do e-commerce without having an e-commerce platform. You can have a page on Facebook, let's say, or a fan page on Facebook, do a live stream down there, and then just gather the orders via Messenger app, right? Via text, basically. And this is also e-commerce because the transaction was done online, right? The sales was done online.
For me, e-commerce is very interesting because you can start digitalization your company from e-commerce.
Yes.
Because I can imagine a standard business, let's say a production company, who all of stuff is done manually. We use paper. We don't have any ERP system, and we start our digitalization from e-commerce. I can imagine that.
It can happen. Yes, we use people and paper, and now we have to use technology, right? With people and with paper.
Okay. So how about if you say about differences between different countries, different continents, related to habits, to buying habits, and which you can use in you can say implementing e-commerce.
Sure.
What is it?
Well, there are a couple of things. So certain countries are famous of being very patriotic. For example, Germany. They would like to buy from a German company. So if you have a German company or a German registered company, this could suffice. So they maybe will not buy from I don't know, a Slovakian company, but they will buy from a German registered company, which is Slovakian, but they don't know because the company is registered in Germany. But also a lot of customers are opening themselves up on buying abroad. It's and this is a trend visible in Poland, but also abroad. So no one will have really very many doubts about buying from a company in Sweden or a company in Romania. If the product is there and if the e-commerce platform looks okay and it seems trustworthy, they will just buy. So this is one thing. Also, people paradoxically in Poland are very accustomed to flexible and good payment options. So we use Blik for the people abroad who don't know what Blik is. This is this sort of express payment via a code generated in your banking app. So you basically pay with a code. And this is, when we look at the Polish market, this is another interesting fact, that the Polish market is the most developed when it comes to online payment methods. So there is most likely not a single market in Europe that is more developed than Polish market. And for example, in other countries, you would have some countries specific payment methods that are only used and that they would like to only use. For example, PayPal or Klarna. Also, some countries abroad like the express ways of payment. So like one-click payments, which in Poland is not really that widespread. So we don't really have these sort of buying via one button, right? So just click and buy. We don't really have that. Abroad it's much
Amazon
more
have
widespread.
that
Amazon
good
have-
optimized, right?
Amazon pioneered it basically, and it's just buy via one click, right?
Mhm.
And it's bought. It's coming, right? The
Mhm.
package is coming. So I think these would be like and obviously the buying something, trying it on, and then buying for it later, or just simply returning it. It wasn't that widespread recently in Poland, but right now we can see this trend sort of migrated into the Polish market as well. So let's say in the West, so Western Europe or the United States, a lot of customers, they were buying a lot of items or many, or a lot of items, they were buying like 5 or 6 items of like the same thing. So 6 pairs of trousers, 4 coats, etc. And it was
Just try it on.
yeah,
right?
it was obvious that they were going to try it on and then return it.
Okay.
And it was very convenient for them. And now it sort of migrated into the Polish market. So now the Polish businesses are also more aware that even when people are buying 2 coats, it's most likely that they will buy, that they will return one. And that's why we have all of these really long return periods. 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, right? It wasn't like that before, but it was a trend that came from Europe or the Western countries, let's say, or the USA, because it started there.
Yeah, I just, that's a funny thing because I just read a report like a few days ago about that a lot of companies, mostly for clothing companies, are thinking about having a paid return. So if you want to return something what you bought, you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
It's like a global thing, or
I don't think so, because once you offer something for free, it's really extremely difficult to convert it to a paid thing. So earlier on in the e-commerce journey, the returns were paid. So you had to pay at least for shipping, shipping it back to your online store. Right now, also in order to accommodate the client better, and also looking at the giants like Amazon, who started offering free returns, people started offering free returns. Obviously, these returns are not free because they are calculated into the value of the product themselves. So it's not really free, but it's the illusion of being free that converts the customers, because the customer is thinking, okay, if the return is free, it means that they have so much belief in their product that they know that most likely I will not return it. So it builds credibility.
But I have a question. So that means all the items could be actually cheaper than they are?
Yes.
Okay. That was
Yeah.
That was
just
that was
plain and
quick.
simple.
That was quick. So
Yeah.
maybe that would make sense. Like if you're actually charging people for the return of items that they didn't like, they didn't use.
Yeah, you can lower the price.
You can lower the price. So there's a space. There's a space for a platform that will actually do that, because they could be more competitive in terms of pricing.
But you also have to remember that the human psychology, when they see something that is free of charge, they will put like a much higher potential on it, right? They will like it more because...
No,
as
I just
said,
want to
may-
tell
no,
the
wait,
conclusion
wait,
from
wait.
the
Yeah.
report.
What? Let me conclude.
Because
let
as
me
I said,
conclude.
at the beginning it was just like, let's say, 1 company, and then there was 2, 5, 10, now 10,000, right?
Yeah, but
Yes.
from the conclusion from this report, which I talked to you before about, was that companies want to charge for the return because they want avoid the situation that people buy things to just try it on.
Yeah.
So if you think, okay, I don't take 6 pair of trousers. I'll go to the shop. Maybe I'll check what my size is, and then I'll buy only those which I really want.
Yeah.
So that was the conclusion.
There's space for a company that will use this in terms of they can have lower prices, and they can say all the returns are they have to be paid for, and then you can order it on Amazon or whatever other platforms, return it, and then buy it cheaper on the platform that charges you for the return. So I think someone someday will figure that out, and they will just they will not allow free returns, but they will reduce the price and they will be competitive this way.
Maybe.
Okay, but you're a e-commerce insider, you can say, because you're implementing e-commerce software to different kind of businesses. But do you think the future is that there's no place for stationary shops and like classical way of buying things? There will be only e-commerce like 50 years from now, 10 years from now?
I don't think so. But I think it's very important to say that every, let's say, part of economy or every vertical just fluctuates. So we all have ups and downs. So people, there will be times where people will hate on brick and mortar businesses. There will be times when people will hate on e-commerce businesses, right? So this will always go up and down, like if you're riding a roller coaster, right? And I don't think there will ever be 100% e-commerce in the future, but there are certain blends that are happening right now that show that e-commerce or digitized commerce is going more and more into the stores. The examples are, for example, dark stores. So if you don't know what a dark store is, it's a brick and mortar shop front, which is not active. You cannot go inside, you cannot buy, but all the e-commerce orders that are coming in, they are coming to that store and they are preparing the shipment and they are shipping it from that location. And it's not only about e-commerce businesses like items. You can also have a dark store, a restaurant, for example. So the e-commerce order comes into that dark restaurant. They are preparing the food there and shipping it out, right? You also have like digitized, the sort of intelligent cashiers, right? You are putting something into the shopping basket. There are no cashier registers, right, into the store. Everything is done by a digitized program. The cameras are scanning what you put in and they are charging your phone or your card or whatever else. So I think we are going more into this sort of connected e-commerce. So this e-commerce platform will be connected with something else. We have the emergence, let's say, of showrooms. So you cannot really buy in the physical store anymore. You just go in, you admire the product, you say, oh, it's so beautiful. And then you just scan it with your phone, or you scan the QR code, or you scan the barcode. It just pushes you into the e-commerce platform and you finish the order in there. So this is another thing.
Yeah, we also have stores already which there's no people inside, right? You can just go inside. You can even order the thing before, but if you want to check it physically, touch it, you can go inside and robots inside just prepare to you the thing which you just wanted to test. But okay, that's okay, because we are talking most of the time until now we were talking about B2C businesses.
Yes.
But let's say like I'm just selling to other business. I'm a production company. My clients are also business based.
Yeah.
How can I be a benefit from e-commerce? What can I do to take those trends, which we know well from B2C to my B2B sales.
Are you asking about the benefits of doing e-commerce, or are you asking about how to prepare a company?
First, my question is why I should even consider that.
So
So
the
why I
benefits,
should
let's say.
consider, why I should consider e-commerce.
Well, if you are selling in this traditional, let's say traditional in inverted commas, traditional model, then you probably have salespeople, you have sales representatives, you have like account managers and stuff like that, and you are just using human potential in order to sell whatever you can. And an e-commerce store is like an additional, not even one salesperson. It's like an additional 100 sometimes, right? Because if you have only physical people, then you are not only limited by the human potential, you are also limited by geographical potential. Because how are you planning to sell with physical, not physical people, because people are physical. How are you planning to sell with people when you are a company based in Portugal and you would like to sell something to a factory in Romania, right? It's very difficult. But you can also have an e-commerce store, and you can always have marketing or sales department that will prepare some sort of a campaign for the Romanian market, and you can sort of softly go into that e-commerce market, abroad market, and the e-commerce platform can perform the work of 10 salespeople when you are embedded in that market. Mm-hmm. So this would be like another thing. When we talk about e-commerce versus just salespeople, also e-commerce will let you lighten the workload of the salespeople, because you have to remember that your salespeople are not your customer service people. And when the company, let's sort of just, works with their customers for years, they have certain practices that may not be the best. And these practices are that the sales representatives, salespeople that they have, they switch their roles over time into more of a customer service people, order takers, or just, taking care of the customer after the sale. So they take the order very quickly, and then they just answer questions over the phone or via email. What's happening? Where is my order coming? When is my order coming? Why do we have any delays, etc.? And this can be, first of all, done by different set of people. And second of all, when you transfer your customers or some of your customers at the beginning from your salespeople to the e-commerce platform, then your salespeople will have more time to take care of the really key clients, so they can try to upsell and cross-sell and try to give them the proper care that they need. And also the smaller customers that you have will not really bother your people anymore. And you can also see that suddenly these smaller orders have way higher of a margin, because you're not really including the salespeople in the whole process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because also I see like a benefit, because let's say you are let's say Poland-based production company, and you want to sell on Swedish market.
Yes.
Right. You can still produce in Poland, but you can just buy a warehouse in Sweden, mm-hmm. supply this warehouse,
yes,
and have an e-commerce platform Sweden-based, and just have people there to take care of the platform and the warehouse. But the entire production can be in Poland, right? Mm-hmm. So the processes are much easier, and you don't have to think about to relocate your production. Just mm-hmm. have to have the steps which you have to take.
Yeah, just have a good distribution network, basically.
Yeah, you have to have just a good distribution network, and you can start right away, right? Because setting up an e-commerce platform, it's I think much more easier, especially if you have it already in Poland. In this case, in Sweden, than just hiring people there to start selling and looking for the market.
There's also like one additional benefit, because people don't really often talk about it. But let's say you're a Polish-based company.
Production
company. But it can apply to a Slovakian-based company, a German-based production company, whatever. Sometimes the rates offered by a logistical partner, so a courier service, basically, these rates can be so favorable that it's not even feasible to build a warehouse in another country, right? So you can send a package with a very, very nice rate to, let's say, all the countries that are your neighbors. So you don't have to build any additional warehouses there. You can just have all the logistics in your country. But then if you are sending them, let's say, 2 or 3 countries over, then you see, okay, now these costs, logistic costs are very high. So let's calculate if it's feasible for me to open a warehouse there, like 2 or 3 countries over. And this may be a good idea. So yeah, just remember that it's not always that you should buy a warehouse in the next country. You can just have it in your own country and just see what is where you really have the profit to send it over to another country.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but let's say the scenario, I'm a production company, and what should I prepare first to implement an e-commerce platform to sell online?
Sure. Yeah, so the list is very long.
Okay.
It's a very long list. So let's start maybe with the most important things. Mm-hmm. So the first thing is the decision or the ability to restart the project, because you have to have the correct stakeholders, or you have to have at least one stakeholder who is a decision maker in the company, and he takes this idea basically.
So he's like a project manager.
Yeah, he's like a project manager. He can be more like a project owner or a product owner, right? Mm-hmm. He has the idea and he takes it in front of the board of directors. He can be a member of the board of directors himself or herself, and they negotiate, let's say, that we should start this project, and the idea has to flow from, let's say, above, so from the board of directors, like the whole C-level suite should be included as well, and there should be a company-wide understanding that we are doing this project, that this is going to happen sooner or later. This is not going away. We all have to go through it together, because if we don't, we're most likely going to die because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, but my question is like, because, in some point I have to go to an e-commerce company.
Sure.
Let's say it will be you. But what should I do before to make this process working with the e-commerce company more smooth,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So it would basically be like the next step. So if you have a company-wide understanding, you go to an e-commerce company, right? Mm-hmm. We can also obviously discuss how you should choose an e-commerce company, but this could be a different topic for a different podcast episode. So please comment if you would like to hear about that.
Yeah, if we have a lot of comments, we for sure we
will do one like this. Yeah. And so the next thing would be you have to choose some sort of a project manager or a project owner or a product owner in your own company who will coordinate the whole implementation. So that's like the first thing. Then you go to a software house or an IT company, which you chose, and they will perform some sort of a pre-project analysis, most likely, because if you're a production company, you have very custom products. The more custom products or the more custom production process you have, the more analysis is needed in order to successfully implement an e-commerce platform, right? So if you have very standardized products, very simple production methods, or production just the whole production process is very simple, then maybe a short analysis will be sufficient in order to start with an e-commerce platform. So you have a company-wide understanding, you have the project manager or a product owner, you have a good IT company, then you go to them, pre-project analysis and processes and procedures. So this will be like the crux of what we are doing. So if you don't have the processes and you don't have the procedures written down in some sort of shape or form, it doesn't matter if it's on a piece of paper or if it's on Google Drive or if it's in Excel, it doesn't matter. you have to have these processes ready or mapped out throughout your company, because the e-commerce agency will always ask, okay, how does your fulfillment look like? What sort of payments do you use? How are the customers returning the products? What do you do with that return, right? How do you return the money? And how does your customer service contact the customers? What do they have to have a look into your e-commerce platform? So there's like hundreds of questions that you have to answer, and it will, let's say, force you into digitizing certain aspects or into writing down the processes and procedures, because without those, you will not be able to successfully implement an e-commerce platform, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of work for people who's going to start out.
It is.
I think probably it depends on the business
Yes.
and what's the value of those businesses. But for example, in production, if we see the automotive companies, the value, the production of the value chain is very long. So there's a lot of middlemen in between.
Yeah.
For example, to work with final car company, right? Who put things together and do the sales and put the logo on. But there's a lot of different manufacturer in between.
Yeah.
So how those manufacturer between, or is that even a thing or a trend? If those manufacturer companies who sell only for final production companies, if they can be a benefit, they can take some benefits of e-commerce right now. Do you think it will be a thing in the future, or?
Well, I think there is right now a trend of digitizing or going more digital. Why? Well, because the workforce is getting younger and younger, and if the workforce is getting younger, then they are coming into the workplace with certain experiences from the online world. Like people who were born after the year 2000, they have been raised 100% with the internet. They always had the internet on. They have never lived in an era where there was no online access. And you really have to look at that, because basically for the last 4 years, we have a workforce that is 100% accustomed to using the internet, and it will only get bigger. So the employees are coming in with experiences from the e-commerce world, and they will be asking questions like, why is our company not using e-commerce? Why do I have to call someone? Like, I'm afraid of calling someone. Right? And it's a real thing right now that people don't really want to talk on the phone. It's a real thing. And so the benefit will be simple. Like, your workforce will want to have it,
change,
and they will force you to change. And the benefit will be that you will give them the tool that they need so they can perform the work that you need.
Okay. Yeah, I think because previously we talked about it, but now I want to make a short summarize. So generally, e-commerce and any kind of digitalization can optimize a lot of different processes, but there always be a human being who will have this added value. You can compare it to restaurants where you have like very high level places where this waiter comes to you and do the job and make you pay like 3 times more than you plan to, right?
Yeah.
You have shops where people are for example with suits and with this kind of stuff. They are coming to you and they are telling you what's good for your shape, what's not.
Yes.
And if you're not specialist, you cannot say. You just see yourself in your mirror. You think, okay, it's good than before, so it's good enough. So I take it, and they tell you, no, what you should think about it. So that's because we talk about it. How is e-commerce are going to be like 100% of sales? And I think that those premium things, those premium values which people add, it will never be automatized. We have an example of robotized restaurants, right?
Yes.
When robots are in restaurants, there's no people, and we see that this is weird right now. If we look at it outside.
But I also think that we are seeing more and more of high ticket sales being performed online. So, for example, maybe some years ago, if you wanted to buy an Hermes bag, you would go to whatever, Los Angeles or Paris and buy an Hermes bag right there. An Hermes bag is $10,000. And for a couple of years now, at least, I remember that we have an Hermes e-commerce store and you can buy everything online. You don't have to go to Milan in order to buy a bag, right? And also you can order like a Dior suit for whatever X thousands of dollars. So I think more and more high ticket sales will be transferred into e-commerce, and you don't really have to look that far, because look at, let's say, the courses that are offered online, coaching programs. They cost upwards of $10,000 per person, right? Sometimes $100,000, 100% online, just sold via podcasting, sold via marketing campaigns, but they are all available online just to buy, to snatch, just add it to the cart and just complete it, right? Give us your Visa number and it will be yours.
Yeah, we see the same in, for example, buying the cars, right?
Yeah.
That a lot of, most of the car manufacturers now gave the possibility to just go
You can
online.
customize your own Mercedes and off you go.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's okay. That's pretty much it says that every kind of business. What you are trying to say, that any kind of business can be a benefit from e-commerce.
Yes, I've heard about online stores that were saying. I told you about this before. That were selling manufacturing robots, right?
Oh.
So the conversion rate, as I told you, was infinitesimally small, so it was like 0.0001%, and these robots cost upwards of $1 million, but the company was able to sell it via e-commerce, like one robot a year. Obviously it wasn't their main sales channel, but e-commerce worked maybe more as a catalog, but it gave you this opportunity. And the question remains, if you don't have this opportunity, will that one additional $1 million come into your account if you don't have it, or will it not? Because maybe it won't, because maybe on the other side, there will be this young person who is saying, I am absolutely terrified of taking the phone and calling a salesperson because I don't know what he's going to pitch me. But I have done my own research. I have listened to podcasts. I have read the white papers. I know we need this robot, not the other one. We need this one. And he's going to buy it. He's going to procure it, secure the funding, and he's going to buy it. But maybe if you didn't have this online store, you wouldn't be able to. And the examples are abundant. You can buy roofs, right, via e-commerce, made to measure, suits made to measure. You can buy windows made to measure. Right? Everything is made to measure. There's so many examples that for me it wouldn't even be easy to remember them all, but basically, you can buy very simple things. If you're a production company and you sell this one widget, that is just this one thing, you can sell hundreds of thousands of those, or you can sell very customized products that you produce for according to the spec from your client.
Okay, how about like my last question is about Black Friday, because we know that this is like a holiday for salespeople and most of the SaaS businesses. What Black Friday, what a standard business who doesn't use e-commerce can like take benefits, like the best benefits from the Black Friday and use it in their business?
Well, the key is preparation, because Black Friday doesn't happen just from one day into another and then it's forgotten. So we know for like 80 days, 312 days in a year that we will have this Black Friday, right? So we can prepare earlier, and you should prepare earlier. So if you have a company, a traditional company, let's say, with a traditional sales front, so like a brick mortar store or a production company that just sells something to distributors or to their own customers. Always remember to prepare earlier. So prepare your salespeople. Okay, listen, we have this idea of doing Black Friday in B2B in our company, right? In B2B sales, we have this amount of discounts to give. Tell your clients, come back to us with the orders, right? Or if they have an e-commerce store, they can, push the marketing message earlier, right? But if they are a traditional company, then just prepare earlier. See how much you sold last year. See how much you are planning to sell this year. See if you grew when it comes to your sales. If you did, project it towards your Black Friday sales as well. Just, try to figure out how much product am I going to use. Then you have to have the time to produce it. You have to have the time to store it, label it, and then ship it, right? Prepare your company. So when I say company, I mean people and processes. So if you have a customer service team, just prepare them. Listen, we are probably going to have a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails from people because we are going to sell these and these discounts via the Black Friday period. So you have to take an additional shift, or we will give you additional shifts, or we will employ like an agency people from outside who are going to help you, right? The same in the warehouse, right? Maybe let's take an agency with 15 more warehouse pickers so they can help you ship the orders faster, stuff like that. And just remember that your business is most likely going to fail somewhere. So because there will be such a big influx of orders during Black Friday, that if you just have the time to think and identify where you're going to fail, it's going to prepare you better. So where are you going to fail? Is your warehouse going to fail? Is your parcel service not giving you enough allocation, and they are just going to send you the same van day after day, but you have 6 times more orders, right? Because if you believe the numbers, the worldwide trend is increasing the number of orders 7-fold during Black Friday, right? 7-fold. It's not 2-fold, 7-fold. So 7 times more orders will be coming out. It's an astounding number, because it may turn out that you are not delivering your products within 3 days. You are delivering your products within 17 days. And then you have to tell your clients, listen, we are sorry, but you are going to have to wait 2 more additional weeks for it to arrive, and pray that they don't withdraw their money that they have already paid, right? That they don't make the returns. So it's a complicated process. It has like a lot of moving parts inside of it, but it can be done, and preparation is key.
Okay, so I think we can go to summarize this episode. I think one takeaway from all of us it would be good. Maybe I'll start. For me, like, it's interesting that if you're thinking about starting the digitalization in your company, sales department, so implementing the e-commerce could be a good part, because it will also force you to standardize the processes from different parts of the business. For example, warehouse and communication between sales and warehouse department and accounting. And it could make you more prepared for example, ERP implementation, right? It has to be connected directly to general digitalization roadmap from the company. It's good to think, okay, we are building the e-commerce because we have a cause that the second step, it will be, for example, warehouse management in ERP. And e-commerce could be a good start for that. So that's my takeaway.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Your salespeople are not your customer service people, And if your salespeople became customer service people, you should replace them with e-commerce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for me in the summary, I would like to introduce a term that we have talked about earlier, MVP, so minimum viable product. So if you would like to test e-commerce, if you would like to try your hands in e-commerce, you should always think about, okay, what is the minimum amount of things that I have to do for that e-commerce to work in our company? And you should start with that as a test and then just check, redo something, stop doing things that don't work, add additional resources in the places where you need them, which work, and it will be a shorter cycle for you to start selling in e-commerce, and it will be a better learning curve for you because you'll have a product, and by product I mean e-commerce store that is going to sell, and then you will just be able to learn along as it goes.
Okay, perfect. So last question for the end.
Okay.
What's the one app or website which you're using on daily basis, which helps you a lot, and you can just tell everyone to use it?
Time tracking. Basically, time tracking when we talk about both work time and private time. So see how much time you are spending on different things, see how much time you're spending on your phone, or anything else. A lot of people nowadays...
YouTube doesn't count, right?
YouTube especially counts.
Okay.
A lot of people are saying right now that they don't have really time for anything, both at work and in your house. But if you actually look at these time management reports, you will see, okay, at work I am spending 4 hours a day on emails. Why? Right? Maybe it can be outsourced, or maybe I'm just receiving too many emails. I shouldn't be in them, right? Maybe you could cut it down to 1 hour a day. And the same at home. Maybe you're spending 4 hours a day on TikTok and you don't even realize it.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much, Adrian.
Thank you
for having you. And next week we will go with the next episode. Please leave a comment and a thumb up. It will definitely help us to spread our word about digitalization and e-commerce in this case. And see you soon. Bye.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.